Welcome to Programming 102, an introduction to programming. We are in section 2 and doing an introduction to HTML. Again, this isn't a full HTML course, it's just part of a programming course. So the focus is going to be on the parts of HTML that are required to get beginners being able to generate their own static web pages. So we are in lesson 3, and what we are going to do today is we're going to talk about HTML comments, what they are and how to use them. We're going to talk about escaping HTML special characters. We're going to look at self-closing tags, and I've actually been using 2 of them since lesson 1 and lesson 2. The HR or horizontal rule tag and the BR or line break tag. So we're going to look at a few more of these self-closing tags, and we're going to understand just a little bit about what are these self-closing tags. And after that, we are going to take a look at some other commonly used HTML tags. So these are tags that even the absolute beginner are going to have to use quite frequently, even in their own marking up. So we are going to begin with HTML comments, and commenting is a process whereby the programmer inserts comments into their program code, and these comments are actually ignored by the compiler or the interpreter or the parser or browser or whatever is the agent that is attempting to make sense of the actual program code. So what this does is that it allows humans to insert this code, and it isn't evaluated, it isn't executed, it isn't rendered, it isn't acted upon. When doing simple documentation, comments are useful for explaining little sections of code, what something does, and this is valuable when you are working with more than one programmer or other members on a development team. And actually, as you begin to do more work and you begin doing bigger projects, even if you are a solo developer, it becomes really helpful for your own good if you actually use comments to document pieces of your own code. Another reason for using comments would be for testing and debugging. So sometimes you just want to test a small portion of code, so you may comment off code around that little piece and just test one small section. Maybe sometimes you don't want a section of code to interfere with something else that you're doing, so you comment it off so that you can work on something else without another area in the program interfering. But that aside, let's actually get into actual commenting and see how it is done in HTML. Okay, so I'm using Visual Studio Code on Linux actually, so I'm on my Linux PC today, and we have a treat here with VS Code since it's nice and pretty, and we have color, syntax highlighting, etc, etc. So for this demonstration with comments, the text that we would see in green would be commented out text. So that would be text that is not evaluated by our web browser in our situation. So this is what our little web page now looks like, and essentially what it does, it informs us on how we can go about doing HTML comments. So this less than sign followed by an exclamation mark and 2 dashes is the starting tag for an HTML comment, and all HTML comments end with 2 dashes and the right angle or greater than sign. So what is important to remember is that anything between a comment opening tag and a comment closing tag constitutes an HTML comment, and it is therefore ignored by your web browser. Now looking at this second line that we have displayed in our web browser here, if this was written as code in an HTML document, this would not actually be seen in our web browser. So this wraps up our very brief study of HTML comments. So HTML comments is a pretty brief topic. We understand why we use them and we understand how to use them, and this is the ideal point to transition into our next topic, which is escaping HTML special characters, and that topic will actually explain how it is that we were able to get this text to be displayed between the opening and closing tags of the HTML comment. So those of you with a little more experience would have already figured it out. If you are absolutely new to HTML, just give it some thought, and in the comment section I would actually explain how we do this.